So my first question is very general. What are you hearing from your members? How are they dealing with this? Obviously, the restaurants are frontline in just brutally impacted by this. But just general thoughts that you're hearing from your membership.
Well, I would say the general thoughts that we're hearing are really twofold. Number one, our industry, to work in the hospitality industry, you've got to be a warrior. And so I do hear a lot of optimism and a lot of resilience that you would expect from our industry here in Wyoming. But the harsh fact of it is that the industry is hurting terribly right now. Restaurants are, for the most part, closed. A lot are taking place in to-go orders only. And so they've got a trickle of revenue coming in. Lodging properties, they may be open. Some have chosen to close. Some have stayed open, but with really no travel and tourism taking place right now, they're equally as devastated right now. I mean, I'm hearing about furloughs and layoffs anywhere from 75 to 100% of staff. And I'm hearing about businesses really doing anything they can to just generate a trickle of revenue. I mean, every dollar counts right now, as you would expect in this situation, but this has been devastating to Wyoming's hospitality and tourism industry so far. We're fortunate that it is April and not August. And so that is kind of, when I talk to industry right now, I don't want to jump ahead, but when we talk about wanting to get open, of course, businesses want to get open as soon as it is safely possible because they need revenue coming back in. They need to put people back to work, and they need to be generating revenue for their business and for the state.
Yes.
But what I also hear, Cynthia, is that there's a bit of caution with opening as well. Everybody wants to get open right now, but everybody also, or not everybody, but I'm also hearing a lot of, we don't want to trade 2 weeks in May for all of August.
Oh, yeah,
So,
good point.
So I'm hearing that, I'm hearing a bit of an aversion to not jump in too quickly because the general sentiment from a lot of businesses has been, we can weather a terrible season, we can't weather a no season or a didn't happen season.
That makes perfect sense, but it's not something you would think of yourself if you're not in the hospitality business.
Sure.
So are you hearing more people laid off their people than are trying to participate in the Paycheck Protection Program?
Applaud Senator Barrasso, Senator Enzi, and Congresswoman Cheney for their participation in getting that plan done. A lot of Wyoming small businesses have taken advantage of that, and it has absolutely been beneficial. What I think needs to happen is that in this, you're hearing talks of a COVID-4 bill that may come forward. That the Senate just passed the refunding of the CARES Act. They broadened it a little bit to include healthcare and health testing supplies for states. I think, again, that is fantastic, and we applaud those efforts. But we're hopeful in a COVID-4 bill that it might make the CARES Act and the PPP a little bit more flexible, particularly for restaurants. What I'm hearing is that it's laudable to say you need to spend 75% of it on payroll, but businesses have a lot of other expenses. They've got mortgages, they've got back payments on product that may have gone bad or is stuck in the freezer. They can't sell it right now. They need a little bit more flexibility, and they need a little bit more flexibility on the 8 weeks as well. That needs to be broadened. So we've been working very closely with our national organizations, the National Restaurant Association and the American Hotel and Lodging Association and U.S. Travel to hopefully bring a broadening of what really has been a very helpful good program for small business, but to broaden it some to be more useful, to address some of these considerations for businesses that probably couldn't be considered in the 10-day whipping it through to get relief done now.
Anything else that you can think of that you would like shared with people in Wyoming via this email?
Yeah. I would like the people of Wyoming to know how much it means that they have engaged in taking out food from their local restaurants, buying gift cards for another time, leaving favorable reviews online. You know, it's been a time where we've had a lot of moments of feeling helpless during
Mhm,
this, and there hasn't been a lot people can do for an industry that has essentially had to shut down for the
mhm,
better of public safety. For everyone that has stepped up and done those small things like order those family meals to go, buy those gift certificates, etc., it has been, even if it's a trickle of revenue compared to normal times, it's been incredibly helpful and incredibly well received. When I read stories like one that I read in the Casper Star Tribune that said the Casper community has really stepped up and helped their businesses to the best of their ability, or when I see a situation like you probably saw in the news the other day where people just lined up to support Dad's Donuts here in town
yeah, wasn't
because
that darling? I love that.
I loved it. And you know, it's
Yeah,
the community restaurants and the hospitality industry have always been the ones that are supporting the local baseball team, doing a fundraiser for whoever in their community. To see the
yep.
community in turn back around and support our industry has been heartwarming and very sincerely appreciated.